second part of our results slide here is this lot of text, and we want the relevant subject area to be presented to the delegate depending on which questions they got right and wrong in the actual quiz. So what we need to do is go back to the random question slides. Now, like most slides, even the random question slides have actions that you can do on entry and on the last attempt. So I've set up already here, if we go under project and look at our variables, I've set up 3 variables for our subjects, just sub1, sub2, sub3. We just give these a name. These are going to be our boxes where we're going to put information which will then affect our results screen at the end. Okay, so what I want to happen is that if the delegate enters this question slide here, which is linked to subject 1, and they get it correct, I want a figure. Number 1 would be fine, so I want to pop figure 1 into the variable to say that they've passed. Now, using this concertina here on success, these are what we call simple actions here on the right. Now, if you notice, we've got increment here or assign, so we could say we want to assign our variable with 1. The problem with that is if they go into the second slide and it still assigns the variable with 1, it won't go up. It'll only ever put 1 figure into the variable. So in this list we could then say increment, so every time they go into this slide it will increment on success, so if they get this correct it will pop a figure into this variable here, which would be fine, but what we need to do is we need to move on to the next question, and this increment will not move the slide on. So this is where we can use more advanced actions. So if we go to project advanced actions, instead of having a conditional action, if, asking the question if, at this point all we need to do is to have a specific action that actually happens once they get this question right. So we're going to have a standard action, and we're going to call this subject underscore 1. And on this concertina we're going to go down to expression. Okay, so an expression is going to do something. So we're going to say this variable here for subject 1 is going to equal, we need another variable here, subject 1 plus, and we put literal and we put 1. So this will mean that the variable sub1 equals whatever's in sub1 plus 1, and that means it will increment and add 1 to the variable each time they get a question right in this subject. We also need another action here, it's to continue. So it's going to do, Captivate's going to do both of these actions. Once they get the question right or they click submit, it's going to move them on to the next slide and put 1 into the variable. So we'll save that as an action. Okay. So then when we're in this slide here, this random slide, so on success we want to execute an advanced action, and we want subject 1, which is going to do that for us. So let's just check number 2. We're going to have to do this for all of subject 1. Okay, so I've also set up the other subjects already, so they're already assigned to these random slides. Okay, let's go back to our result slide here. So we've already done one part of this advanced action. When we enter here, we want the text to be shown depending on how they're doing the quiz. But now the next section is to give them this feedback here, depending on where they went wrong. So let's go back to project. We look at our advanced actions. And we've already done an existing action called results. So let's have a look at the results here. Okay. So what we need to do now is set up an advanced action for each of the subject areas. So we can add them here. So we can do subject. We'll add two, and then if you go plus here, it'll add another tab here for us. Subject 3. So let's go back to subject 1. So what we want to say is we've got 5 questions in each subject area. So we're saying if they get all of those 5 questions right, that's fine. They've succeeded and they move through to the next one. So what we're giving feedback on is when they've failed. So if our variable here, sub1, is less than, and we give it a literal 5, then we're going to show our subject 1 text. So this is why we need to make sure that we've labelled all our text boxes accordingly. Otherwise, we're going to ask it to, we'll hide subject 1 text. So we do this for the other 2 subjects. So we've got green ticks on all of those, so it thinks the code is correct. We update our action, close this down, go into the properties for the slide. When we get into this slide, we're going to execute an advanced action, and that advanced action is going to be results, and there we go. So just before we demonstrate this, we need to make sure that our quiz preferences are set up. And here we've just got our general reporting settings. And our pass-fail tab here, we need to put, we've got 15 questions. We're going to say the pass mark is 13 out of the 15. And we're just going to have 1 attempt at this for now. Okay, so let's have a look and see if this works. So let's play our project. So here's a demo of our assessment. So we can go into the assessment here, and here we go. We've got subject 1. I'm going to get this one right. We seem to have got something going on with our radio buttons and the answers on these slides, but never mind. I'll get all these answers right in this first subject. So everything is correct. And there we go. So we've got our figures here on our results slide, 11 out of 15. We've not passed this assessment, and we've now got 2 subject areas to review. Now in this test, I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually get this correct, but I'm going to get 2 questions wrong. There we go. So it shows us our score is 13 out of 15, tells us that we've passed, but we've got 2 areas that we might want to review. So there we go, folks. I hope you've found that useful. It's using advanced actions to give you some specific feedback for your delegate, and I will speak to you soon.